So we've collected a set of trees. We've moved indoors because outside it's freezing. The tools you'll need today are pretty simple. Just some thin wire, some tweezers just to remove any leaf litter, and some scissors. The steps to do this are pretty simple. You're going to remove any leftover leaves. You wait until as late as you can in the season to do this. Zelkova always seems to be the latest tree for me to lose all its leaves, and this year was particularly late. I don't know if that's because of the much warmer summer. So yeah, remove all the leaves. Wait until most of the leaves have gone away from green, otherwise they'll try and push out more leaves. Clean up the soil and then clear a little bit around the base of the tree towards the root. Try and determine if you've got a straightish trunk. You get a few chances during your first year to straighten out as much as you can so that you don't have to wear layer. I didn't show you during the summer that I brought these trunks closer together. You just use a little piece of wire, create like an S-shaped hook, pull them closer together, because earlier in the season they like to splay out or spread out really far, and you want the core of the tree to be quite close together. So you can either take the wire into the soil and go all the way up, or in this case, because the trunk is pretty straight, it is straight although the tree is on a slight angle. In this case you can just wire the top part. Once you've wired it together, then you're going to trim the top parts of the tree so to about this length. So we're going to cut straight across, and once that's done, then we can give them all a lime wash. This one's pretty straightforward. It's a good first choice. Just take out some of the leaf litter so that there's less place for the bugs to hide. A little bit of the moss. Just place the wire across the trunk, just below the joint, below the V. Hope the camera angle's okay. I went for an over the shoulder shot. I felt like it might give you more of like a first person perspective. Gently squeeze it together as you wire it to bring it closer together. Okay. Then you're going to bring these sections up with your hand. It's kind of hard to see. Bring them up with your hand and then wire underneath your hand. Which is kind of awkward, but it's the best way to make sure that things go in a straightish direction. And then just carry on up the tree. And as I said, we're going to clip where the majority of the branches end, which is around here. Try to clip just above a node. You can see the node there, I hope. Then you're going to look at the tree and just make sure that it's straight-ish. It doesn't need to be perfect. But just minor adjustments. Check it in different perspectives. And that's the first one done. Try and get you some different trees. All the trees grow in different states, they're all different. Just like people or animals or whatever. Some are much thicker and bigger, some are much smaller. And I can't remember which ones I made as root cuttings in the start of the season. This one looks like it might have been a root cutting because it's much smaller on the stem and the trunk. But yeah, once I did the root cuttings and repotted them up, they all got mixed in and I forgot to label them. This one looks like it wasn't a root cutting, and so I tried to recreate the V higher up because I must have not cut off the first true leaves. I'm not sure. So then I've managed to recreate the V up here. And then I've unfortunately got this here. So this one will need to be air layered. So it doesn't really matter what's going on with the trunk down here. This is another good example of one that will need to be air layered. After it came out of winter last year, the main trunk died off. It regrew a trunk then, and I was able to create a new V section. So this will be where it air layers from. But this is another one that came out from winter. Can't really get a good angle for you. And you can see the difference. What you're also going to want to do is make sure that you remove any little bits that you've had to remove during the summer, the ends of them. Obviously when you cut off a branch you leave a little bit for it to die back to. There, you can see it now. Yeah? Now you're going to clean it up and remove that. Try and get as flush to the trunk as you can. You're going to want to cut off any crossing branches, like this one. Yeah, it's coming straight across the trunk, and it's also coming from the inside of the branch, the trunk, which we don't want. Same again here. Same again here. So now we've got no crossing branches. Zelkova is an ideal tree for starters because they're really resilient, they're really hardy. They're winter hardy in most countries, up to -20, but that is for like a full grown tree. For these smaller ones with the fine branches, -6 is the maximum you can let them get to. So if you're going to get to -6 or beyond, you're going to want to put them in an unheated garage or an unheated shed or something. Okay, otherwise the fine branches will die off, they won't make it. The core of the tree should survive, but yeah, fine branches like this, they will die. Stick with -4, -5 to be safe, to have a little bit of margin for error. So my trees have already gone in the shed. So again, you wire, you start the wire off, and then as you're wiring, you just gently pinch the stem closer together and carry on wiring. Move on to this problem one that we just mentioned. Problem one in that, I'm not really sure what happened. It looks like there was a branch here and I decided to take that branch off. Camera doesn't want to focus that close. And then when I removed it, the other branch continued on. I tried to straighten it out, but it didn't correct the kink enough. On this tray there was 17, so 3 down, 14 to go. So this one has quite a severe bend. In order to correct it, first you have to bend the trunk this way, and then you have to bend the trunk the other way, kind of on this line. That's quite severe straightening, and there's a good chance it would just snap. So this one's just going to be left and layered. The rest of the trunk section is pretty straight. Love my level tool. Just use what you've got to hand. I do have a ruler that I sometimes use. I haven't used it yet today. I just whack it on. You can roughly tell how far something is from straight. It's not going to give you a perfect gauge, of course, but it's pretty good. Works for me. Use what you've got and use what works. I don't know how well you can see this, but on some of them it looks like buds are forming right at the base of the V, which you want to rub off. It's said that if you rub your trunk you'll make it bigger. No, it's just about rubbing off the buds that are forming. Anywhere where you get 3 branches, you're going to want to immediately cut off one of the branches. You can't have 3 because you will get a swelling in that area, which you really don't want. It's really undesirable. So rub off any buds you see at the forming at the V or below. And you're checking around the base of the tree for the straightness of the trunk. You might sometimes see these little balls, kind of look like Orbeez. You might not know what they are. They're small balls about 1 millimeter wide, clearish, almost see-through, a little bit sticky, and they tend to come in bunches of 10 to 20. That's where slugs have gone in and laid their eggs. So it's a good opportunity to clear those out. I found it twice. None on this one. So unfortunately I don't have an example. I should have recorded it when it happened. Make sure that whenever you do wire to bend, that you make sure the wire is on the outside of the bend to protect from snapping, provide the most support. So wire on the outside of a bend always. I think these are 13cm pots. Terracotta half pots if you want to find them. I think this will be the 115th tree or something like that I've done in a few days. So with it all cleaned up, you can see the branch structure much more clearly. What you can see here, when I get there, is that there are 3 branches there. Yeah, there's another 3 here. Yeah, so you've got to watch out for this and you've got to keep on top of it. You can also see that the broom shape is starting to develop quite nicely. Okay, and here's some I made earlier. This is all of them now. Now we just got to do a lime wash.